President Biden is marking 22 years since 9/11 with a speech before troops in Alaska later today. He is the first U.S. president to not spend September 11th at one of the attack sites or at the White House. The president is returning from Vietnam, where he met with government and business leaders. He also attended the G20 summit in India. CBS News reporter Bo Erickson joins us now from Anchorage, Alaska, where the president will speak later this afternoon. So, Bo, what do we know about the administration's decision to have the president in Alaska, not in New York or D.C. or Pennsylvania? And what can we expect to hear from him later today?
So President Biden is the first sitting U.S. president to not honor at a memorial site on the 9/11 attacks on the day. So people may be asking, why Alaska? Why today? And it's really a logistical question. As you mentioned, he is coming back from his summits in Asia. And here in Alaska, this is the first time that he will be on U.S. soil. And this also is where Air Force One usually refuels. So the White House at Joint Base Elmendorf today is trying to build out a large event. They say more than 1,000 service members and their families will attend and listen to the remarks by President Biden. But this decision to have the remarks here in Alaska today is drawing some criticism because of the venue. I spoke with several 9/11 families this weekend about this choice, and one specifically, his name is Brett Eagleson. He runs 9/11 Justice Project that represents families like his who lost someone in 9/11. He said that the optics of today are terrible. And he questioned that after 22 years, if the sanctity of the day is waning, even for the President of the United States.
Painful to hear that from the family. So, Bo, we've learned that the president also blocked a potential plea agreement for 5 of the defendants who were involved in planning 9/11. What more can you tell us about that?
This is an issue that those 9/11 families have really been watching for more than a decade now. And this is the latest. So 22 years after the attack, the 5 suspected plotters are still awaiting trial in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And this includes the suspected mastermind of the attacks, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. And so last month, 2,000 9/11 families signed a letter to POTUS because they had been starting to hear whispers that there may be a potential plea agreement for some of these suspected plotters. Now, this case is now under the control of military prosecutors. It has moved out of the Justice Department's hands about a decade ago. However, the president still decided to weigh in, and last Thursday, the White House notified the families and notified the public that President Biden does not support a plea deal for these suspected plotters. But it is important to note that it is not the president's decision. The decision will ultimately be made down in Guantanamo Bay by the military prosecutors.
And before we let you go, Bo, what came out of the president's trip to India and to Vietnam?
So these summits were really focused on growing economic ties. And one win that the president and several other world leaders are touting is this economic corridor that connects India, the Middle East, and Europe. And this will be a connection of shipping and railways. And this really took some diplomatic muscle from the United States and other countries. And just as today, I will mention one of the people that they had to convince was the leader of Saudi Arabia, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and that focus over the weekend of the president shaking hands with MBS in Asia. The 9/11 family saw that, and they are hoping that the president, while they grow ties with Saudi Arabia, remembers that some documents that the U.S. has released recently by the Biden administration kind of point some fingers at some coordination with some high-level Saudi diplomats, and they hope the president remembers to hold those individuals accountable.
A lot of optics there for the administration to consider. Bo Erickson from Alaska, thank you.